Okay, so the next thing we're going to talk about is why on earth would I ever have to buy 24 different pencils? I like to buy a set like this, but actually I wind up usually replacing the ones that I use the most. So if you start off with a big set, you're going to find that some you use up a lot faster, and then you're going to have to replace those. This is the Derwent Graphic 24 set, and what you're going to see when you open it up here is that you have 24 different pencils with different numbers and letters on them. Some of them are a little bit easier to read than others. This one is a little bit tricky. That's actually an F. And they're going to run from a 9B to a 9H. And these are artist pencils, so one of the tricky things about them is that they don't have erasers on the back. So you'll have to get used to drawing without an eraser on the back. So let's talk about your different types of pencils now. The H pencils actually stand for hard, and so they're actually going to be a much harder pencil to draw with. And the higher the number gets, the harder the pencil gets. So my H is actually a 1H, and then I have a 2H, a 3H, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and a 9H. And then on the other side here, I have a B pencil, and then that's really like a 1B. And then you get a 2B, 3B, 4B, 5B, 6B, 7B, 8B, and 9B. In the middle here, you have one called an HB, so I like to think of that one like it's perfectly in the center. It's going to be not in your hardest set, it's not in your softest set. And then this one, you can't actually read the writing on this one, but this is an F. Some people say that it stands for fine, some other people think that it doesn't. And I like to think of that one like it's between your H and your HB. So now I'm going to show you the differences between them. And you're going to see when I start off with my 9B that if I just do a little bit of shading, and I'm going to try to do even pressure and a little squiggle and then write that that's the 9B, that one's going to start to look a little bit darker than the next one, which is my 8B. And you see as I go down the scale that they're going to get lighter and lighter and lighter as they get harder and harder and harder. Okay, so now that I've gotten all of the pencils laid out here from a 9B to a 9H, you can really see the difference. You might not see a difference between the 9B and the 7B, but you're actually going to be able to see quite a difference with the full range. The B stands for black. Another way to think of it is that it stands for bold. So remember that one's going to be much darker, much softer. And then again, remember that the H stands for hard, so that's going to be harder and much lighter. In fact, you can barely see the 9H as I've written on the page. In reality, I usually use a 9B to about an HB in my personal drawings and with my students. You're going to find that you have a favorite within here, and those are going to be the ones that you need to replace from your set as they get shorter and shorter. The other thing that I think is important to remember is that you can tell the difference between your pencils because there's a sound that's different. You can see that when I draw with the 9H, it sounds very loud and scratchy, whereas when I draw with the 9B, it's a much softer noise. So you can feel the difference, you can hear the difference, and then you can see the difference. The other thing that's important to know about your pencils is that they're made differently. So the H pencils are composed with graphite, but they also have clay in them, which makes them lighter looking and much harder. The B pencils have more graphite in them, and that's why they get darker and darker. They also get smoother and softer. You'll find that there's a difference when we're doing a value scale and when we're doing shading between all of these pencils, and I actually tend to draw with just one pencil when I'm doing my entire drawing, and I change my pressure, but we'll go over that more when we do a value scale together. I would say if you're just buying a few pencils, start off with a variety of your B pencils, so maybe get an 8 or a 9B, a 3 or a 2B, and an HB, and that would be enough to start with. So if you're on a budget, that's a way to just sort of begin with me with just a few tools. Thank you all so much for watching. More videos are coming soon, so if you wish to subscribe to my channel, go ahead and do that. And also you can check out my website, lzmstudio.com.